today's episode of Crisis and Consequences, we're diving into the shocking story of journalist Kim Wall and her final assignment, an interview with an eccentric submarine builder that would end her life. Through careful reporting and fearless pursuit of the truth, Kim Wall was an incredibly accomplished journalist who most likely never thought that she herself would end up an international headline. There are some of those stories that stick with us because there is simply no acceptable explanation, and this is one of those. Join us as we unravel the events leading up to Kim's last assignment and explore the legacy of a reporter who never stopped asking questions.
Welcome to Crisis and Consequences, a true crime podcast with a purpose. We dive into murder stories and the complicated humans behind them, blending storytelling, dark humor, and real conversation. Listener discretion is advised. This podcast contains dark, troubling, and explicit content.
Welcome back to Crisis and Consequences, everybody.
Jazz hands. Woo!
Oh.
What's your crisis?
Oh.
Or did you have consequences?
It was a crisis.
It's like truth or dare charity.
It's both. Well, okay, you know how we've referenced my little sweet mommy-in-law. Mm-hmm. We get to get it in black and white yesterday. It's Alzheimer's.
Aww.
So,
but there's some peace with that because
had a
it's
good
like,
cry. And I mean, we knew it.
Right.
But seeing it from a licensed neuropsychologist was like,
it still hurts.
Yeah. So it's a bummer.
Yeah.
But she's happy, so hopefully she'll be one of those kind of,
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of that has to do where she's settled into this place. There's more for her to do, and I think she's just enjoying herself on a day-to-day.
So now it's a matter of, when she has to move from assisted living to memory care. So far, she's hanging pretty well in assisted living, so we can keep her there long. But anyway, so that was a bummer.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
Not really a crisis, but like an
How did she handle
answer.
it?
We're not telling her. We're not telling her.
Because it...
Well, it's interesting at this stage of dementia she's in because, some days she thinks her husband's still alive. She'll answer questions. She has no frame, like time is wobbly. It's just all mashed together and it's just whatever her brain hones in on, and it's just really weird. Mm-hmm. It's not like further on in Alzheimer's when complete eras of your life are missing from memory. You can't access that any longer. So it's just really, really mushed up. But occasionally, something will get through that long-term memory barrier. Mm-hmm. And it's usually things that stress her out or are gossip-worthy or they're exciting in some way, and it doesn't have to be a positive way. Mm-hmm. So, I think if I tell her, we tell her this is the diagnosis, that's going to sink in, and that's just going to wreck her entire mental well-being. So we're just not going to tell her. There's no point. There's nothing she can do about it. Yeah. We just want her happy and healthy, and it just sucks. Yeah. It just really sucks. My nose is tingling now. I don't want to cry. No, because I'm going to cry. Yeah.
You know what happens to me when I try and hold back my emotions? My throat. I get like an actual ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it hurts. And it'll sit there for long periods of time. It's almost like I need to go.
Yeah, it's all the tears you're sucking back inside your sinuses, and it forms a little bubble inside your throat. And anyway, so terrible. How about you? Are you dodging anything?
Well, yeah, I tried to dodge something. I had to go to the dentist yesterday. Oh. I love my dentist and my hygienist. I love them all. I love the whole office. They're just fantastic. Yeah. Advanced dental professionals.
They are not paying us, by the way.
They are not paying us, by the way, but I do sincerely love them for numerous reasons. Anyway, we go in for our cleanings, and I'm always usually like, good, chip, chop, chip, Well, this time it was like a fluke happened, and she's like, we really got to get up in there. There's something that's it's probably, she was like, could be raspberry seed, strawberry seed, cheese, something got up under your gums, because I floss, I soft pick, I brush I do all the things.
Yeah.
But she was asking me, do you eat this? And I'm like, yes, all the above. I eat all of them, And so, but it had caused a little issue. But oh my gosh, so now today
it's sore.
Yeah, because that deep clean but my gosh, are they good? And so
I'm
I know, it was just so well, and that's my thing. I was like, how does this happen? She's like, it's just, who knows? It's a fluke.
Yeah.
Because I thought maybe it was something I had done differently, and she's like, no, it literally is just a fluke. But Yeah, so she dug that sucker out of there, and but it's your front, like it was up here in like
Yeah.
my front teeth, and so then you're double sensitive. So
Yeah.
I feel like yesterday I was just kind of like
Holding onto
She-
the sides of the chair for dear life.
And speaking of tingling, she had to numb it, which they
Oh.
never do when they're cleaning my teeth.
Yeah.
I'm pretty, it's like I said, it's usually pretty good, but she needed to in order to do the kind of deep cleaning that she had to do to get that out of there. And so she numbed. So it's like my whole lip and then my nose was all.
Or how you're told.
So it was just. And then you smile and you feel like your lip is this big and it's not moving. So then you're like, oh, it's the worst. But anyway.
And by the way, this is the Crisis and Consequences podcast. I'm Charity.
And I'm KB. And I feel like, what a silly crisis. You know what I mean? But that's all I can come up with.
Yeah.
Lives.
Well, are you ready for a story?
I'm ready
Miss
for
KB.
a story. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I wish I had a happy ending, but
No,
yeah.
most of them don't.
No, I agree.
Most of
Most of
them
them don't.
That's
When did this one take place?
2017.
Okay, so not too long ago.
No, not that long ago.
Are you ready to re-enter the workforce or find a career that actually fits? Or maybe you're an employer, tired of noisy platforms that miss the mark? Try Focus, a smarter hiring tool that helps you cut through the noise and focus on what matters. Visit focus.work today. That's FOQUS.WORK.
Okay. Ready? Mm-hmm. Got your listening ears on?
I do.
Ready?
Do you have your listening ears on?
Okay. August 10th, 2017. This is Copenhagen. It's like a warm summer evening. Everybody's like loving life there. Young woman, she's standing at the harbor's edge. She makes a decision that any journalist worth their salt would have also made. There's a story to be told. There was a source willing to talk. And there was a boat of sorts waiting at the dock for her. So she texted her boyfriend, coffees and cookies. I'll explain that later, meaning that the host had provided refreshments and that she'd be back in a couple of hours. So she'd been trying to get hold of this guy for weeks and weeks and weeks. He finally comes through, and then here's where we pick up. So Kim Wall was 30 years of age, and in those 30 years, this woman lived more and experienced more and explored more than most people do in 80 years. Like, she was incredible. She was born 23rd of March in 87 in Trelleborg, Sweden, which is a small coastal town just like across from Denmark. So she grew up in a household that was full of journalists. Her mom was a journalist. Her father was a photojournalist. And so it clearly was like in her DNA. And so she goes into freelance journalism. She studied international relations at the London School of Economics, and then she packed up and crossed the Atlantic for a dual master's degree in journalism and international relations from Columbia University in New York. Smart cookie. She won a Foreign Press Association award before she'd even truly begun her career. And I took the time to go read. I probably read 8 maybe of her pieces.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, I know there are quality reporters out there, but not as, like, they all used to be really amazing back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just not true anymore. She definitely was
She was a true
impressive.
reporter.
Yes. And, you know, she wasn't built for, like, being in the office or having that traditional getting on with a big, firm or agency or whatever. She was a freelancer at heart, free-spirited. And so you to do that, I mean, first of all, you have to be self-employed, which is not everybody's cup of tea.
Yep.
You have to be courageous because the things that she goes and explores, just wait till I get into some of these. It's like, holy crap. Very, very motivated. And she didn't have that safety net of like a masthead agency or salary. She's just like ambitious. She's smart and had a really amazing way of eking out a story out of almost any situation. It was just really, really remarkable. And so she used her press pass to go pretty much wherever she wants. She once traveled to North Korea.
Oh, geez.
I would never go to North Korea. And I mean, we all know this is one of the most like closed off, secretive countries on the planet. And she came back with a story. She goes to Uganda to report on Idi Amin's torture chambers. the growing influence of Chinese businesses on African communities and how that's kind of taking over. She went to post-war Sri Lanka.
Wow.
She explored voodoo in Haiti. I mean, she went and investigated tiger poaching in India.
Oh.
I mean, she could have been a victim of something herself, when
Yeah,
they were.
absolutely.
It was just incredible. I just loved her work. I mean, it just crosses the board too. There was one about this like fairy tale romance in New York City that was just super cool. She interviewed a self-proclaimed real life vampire.
Okay.
I read that one and learned so much.
Huh. I
No idea about, which is not what today's episode is about, but I've linked all of this in the show notes. If you're
Okay.
curious, curiosity
I
is
am
piqued.
curious, yeah.
Go take a read because it's just really interesting. She went to the Marshall Islands, which is a remote Pacific atoll. She slept mosquito netting, the whole thing. And she's tracing this radioactive problem left behind by decades of American nuclear weapons testing in that area and how it's decimated this ecosystem here. Just an outstanding reporter, like I said. So this Marshall Island series, by the way, was published in collaboration with 2 fellow Columbia graduates, and they won the Hansel Mead Prize for Best Digital Reportage in 2016. She also did reporting on the Run It Dome. Have you heard of that? This is wild. I didn't even know this existed.
The Run It Dome?
Run It Dome. It's a like it looks like a big concrete island. It's like a half buried structure that's now leaking this radioactive waste into the Pacific. So the stuff that we thought we were storing safely so that we didn't destroy the ecosystem and the environment. Oops, it's leaking. And she went and exposed all of that. But the thing about it is she'd go and put herself in these situations and it would cause change and it would cause people who needed to pay attention and start doing some remediation impact. So anyway, let's see what else. One of her friends, collaborator, Colleen, I don't know if it's Jose or Jose. I'm not sure. I didn't look that one up. She later wrote that Kim was an artist and storyteller in every sense. She could piece together memory, oral history, and lived observation into something that didn't just inform, it moved people to act. And you can just get it through reading just a couple of her articles. Her bylines appeared in New York Times, Guardian, Atlantic, Harper's, Time, Vice, Slate. It just
Yeah. All
extraordinary.
The big ones.
Yeah. What made her journalistic ability so exceptional, said her friend Anna Rado, was that she looked for quirky stories but with a bigger narrative, and she reported them deeply. She never made a spectacle of the characters, and her reporting was rock solid. So if you talk to anyone who knew Kim Wall, even briefly, this image or portrait emerges that goes well beyond, there's just so much depth to this person. Her colleagues describe her with this electric warmth, this really crisp and dry wit, beautiful young lady, this very radiant smile. She was humble. By all accounts, her friends say and her loved ones that she gave the best hugs. And she was the kind of person, if she asked you a question, she actually meant it. She was genuinely
wanted to hear the
interested.
answer.
Have you ever had conversations with people where they're asking you questions and they're already on to the next thing? And
Pretty much on a regular basis.
yeah.
That's one of my least favorite things because I am one of the people who, when I ask you, "Hey, how you doing?"
mean it.
I'm not asking you to tell me
Yeah.
good and then walk away. I'm asking
Because you care.
how you doing? Because
Yeah.
you care. I care.
Yeah.
I care about the good, bad, and the in between. Yeah.
And so, I've never met her, obviously. I never had that opportunity, but I can imagine her researching a story and asking a question. It wasn't because I think I already know the answer. It's I genuinely want to hear
Yeah.
what you have to say.
Yeah.
And so I think it was just really cool. She loved her work. She also loved life itself. She had this boyfriend, Ole Stoba Nielsen. He was a Danish designer. They were in the midst of planning this new life together. They had decided to move to Beijing. And so when did I say this started? 10th of August, 17. So they were getting ready to move to Beijing 16th of August.
Oh, geez.
Okay, so just within days. The evening of the 10th, in fact, even before she, as she's boarding the submarine, there was a farewell party going on for them. So she was just hey, I've just got to go do this thing.
Real quick.
Right? Okay. She said she'd be back in 2 hours. She'd been on boats before, and she'd been in far more dangerous places,
Yes.
she thought. All right. So to understand what happened on this submarine, the UC-3 Nautilus, because we're going to make it sound really cool when we're a complete raging psychopathic narcissist, you've got to understand this out of the chute piece of shit who built it. So Peter, I'm not even going to attempt his middle name, Madsen, was born January 12th, 71 in Cebu, a small lakeside town little west of Copenhagen. Okay. So he's also from this area. His childhood, not easy. He had a father who was more than 30 years older than his mother.
Oh.
Ouch. Innkeeper described in biographies as authoritarian and violent. And his mom took the children finally and left when Peter was about 6. So after a couple years, Peter made the unusual decision to leave his mother and his siblings and go back to live with his father.
Oh.
And that's definitely shaped him. In a biography published in 2014, Madsen reflected on his father with words that were kind of startling and they were dark. Mm-hmm. It's like, when I think about my father, I think how children in Germany must have felt if their dad was a commandant in the concentration camp. How does it feel to know your own father is a villain? And he wanted to, he
wanted to live with
wanted
him.
to go live with him.
Huh.
Okay, and yet it was his father who gave him like a shared love of military history, a shared love of war machinery, engineering. And so by his teenage years, this guy had discovered all this amazing world of science, rockets, like he was enthralled with rockets. Mm-hmm. He had a physics and chemistry teacher, a man named Johannes Fischer, kind of helped pull that out of him, and kind of turn it into a lifestyle almost.
Right.
In 86, at the age of 15, Madsen built and launched his first rocket. It was 1 meter tall. It had all these letters. Peacekeeper is what it was called, constructed in his father's workshop. This thing reached about 100 meters into the air before crashing back to Earth, but he was hooked. Yeah. It was like, oh my God, I did it. It worked.
Yeah.
Okay, so now at 15, he founded his first company, the Danish Space Academy, which was designed to acquire spare parts for rocket building. So this is what the Danish Space Academy was designed to do. I don't know how he funded it or how that worked, but he did it. His father died when he was 19, and then he enrolled to study engineering and try to make it, put a ring on it. Then he abandoned formal education once he felt he'd learned enough.
Oh, sure.
Because he's really, really smart. And yeah, sorry, my thing's burning on my fingers now. So he was in many ways a man who believed institutions and that formality of education and stuff were for other people because he was special. So he taught himself to weld, he studied submarines, and in 2002, he and a collaborator built the UC-1 Freya, which was the first privately constructed submarine in Danish history. He would go on to build 2 more, the UC-2 Kraka, and then the vessel that would define him, the UC-3 Nautilus. The Nautilus was it was genuinely remarkable, constructed over 3 years with a team of 25 volunteers, funded through grassroots crowdfunding, launched in May of 2008 in the harbor of Copenhagen. It became the largest privately built submarine in Denmark, which was a feat of do-it-yourself engineering that really attracted admirers around the world. I don't want you guys to like this guy at all, but if you like engineering things like I do, it.
Just even listening
even
to
bad
of this,
people can do some impressive things, right?
It is impressive, yeah.
Cost approximately $200,000. So it's crowdfunding, and he's putting all of it into this. So around the same time, he co-founded Copenhagen Suborbitals with Christian von Bengtsen, a former NASA architect. Mm-hmm. And their shared dream was to launch a human being into space, not with a government budget or corporate empire behind them, but through, again, this amateur will and grassroots crowdfunding. Von Bengtsen, I can't say his name, Bengtsen would later describe it as the ultimate do-it-yourself project. And in 2011, they successfully launched a rocket from a floating platform in the Baltic Sea.
Wow.
So they kind of were becoming folk heroes, part like Carl Sagan, part Jacques Cousteau, and journalists profiled him with a lot of admiration at the time. He tested a rocket-driven centrifuge on Danish television, and he once told an interviewer his greatest ambition was to fly over Copenhagen in a Zeppelin, which would be kind of badass. But those who worked alongside him, all these volunteers and business people, business partners, told a very different story of their experience with him. Colleagues described him as uncompromising. This is going to remind you of someone that we are dealing with right now in our local, yes. Uncompromising, did not like to be contradicted, frequent and explosive mood swings. Oh God, I might get murdered.
Oh, let's hope not.
I'm glad I'm married to a cop. I sleep with a cop. I have a built-in security system.
That's right.
Okay. The biographer Thomas Dursing, ooh, that came out pretty good.
It did come out good.
All right.
I was going to say, this has been entertaining, just listening to you try and pronounce all
these
names.
Oh, I'm doing my best.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. He wrote a full-length article of Madsen in 2014, and he said, quote, "He is angry with God and everyone. Conflict has followed him his whole life. He has a hard time getting along with other people. He has lofty ambitions and wants to do everything his way." Never. You're on the planet with other people. Doesn't work out that way.
No.
Sorry.
Never is going to work
So
out.
sorry. So by 2014, the partnership with von Bengtson had collapsed, and Madsen publicly admitted his own temper was to blame. So he moves his operations directly across the lot from Copenhagen suborbitals, like,
Yeah, look at me over
and
here.
sets up the Rocket Madsen Space Lab, or the Madsen Rocket Space Lab. I don't remember.
It's a very clever name.
Super. I mean, his ingenuity went into other things,
Right.
not
Yeah.
naming. Yeah.
Can't have it all.
No. So anyway, I don't know. I think he was kind of taunting his former partners, but whatever. So his conflicts with the volunteers who helped build the Nautilus were even more revealing. After this fallout in 2015, Madsen sent a text message to the submarine's board of directors that read, "You may think a curse is lying on Nautilus. That curse is me. There will never be peace on Nautilus as long as I exist." So you can see the narcissism. You can see that everything revolves around me.
Yeah, it's like a God complex.
Oh, big time. And he eventually won ownership back of the vessel from this board. And so he had a habit of like bullying people until he got what he wanted.
Yeah, well.
I-
Yeah, and then a
I
lot of
know
times
the
people
type.
are like, just take it. My
Yeah.
gosh, like, just get away from me. Yeah.
But there was also a darker picture forming behind this public persona. Like, yes, he was kind of a tyrant and hard to deal with. But according to witnesses at his trial, Madsen was also a regular at fetish parties and sex clubs, which I'm not shaming. He had been part of a BDSM group.
What is that?
Oh, like sadomasochism, bondage, Dominic.
Oh,
Okay.
no thanks.
It encompasses a wide variety of things. I've watched some like documentary stuff on it where like, yeah, you're binding people,
No.
dominating. Okay. So these fetish things, he was asked to leave.
Oh,
I don't know what you have to do in those circles to not be accepted.
pull the curtain back and say peekaboo.
But anyway, you're going to get some ideas probably by the time I'm done with the story.
Okay.
Witnesses also testified that he had expressed an interest in extreme forms of violence. On his computer, police would later find over 100 videos, cartoons, and written text depicting the murder, torture, and mutilation of women. And on the morning of the 10th of August, 2017, investigators would establish that Madsen had searched the internet for words like beheading,
Oh.
girl, and agony. I'm so sorry.
How about we just skip all this part and we go read one of our articles?
Early 2017, Kim Wall had been developing this pitch for Wired magazine. She was fascinated by this guy, the space program, the homemade submarines, the rivalry, like all the stuff.
Yeah.
And so she'd been trying to reach out for a couple of months and he didn't immediately respond. Months go by. Kim and Ole were preparing for Beijing. And then again, now we're back to that evening of the 10th of August. She gets that text from him. So he's like, hey, I'm ready for this interview. Take a couple hours, whatever. And so she's like, let's go. So, she tells her people. Hey, I'll be back in 2 hours. And she gets on board. She boards at approximately 7 p.m. local time. She texted her fiance or boyfriend, I'm not sure which. Things were good. Mattson had brought coffee and cookies, like it's all normal. Nothing to see here, folks. There's a photograph she sent that shows her standing in the tower of the submarine smiling with the like Copenhagen skyline behind her. And then 8 p.m. the message is stopped. But of course, she's submerged. So that is an easy explanation, right? So Ole waited. He called, no answer. He searched. Now it's 1:43 in the morning of the 11th. That's
red flags.
A long submarine trip, right? For just a quick couple hour interview for this guy to show off his invention. So he calls the police. The following morning, well, it's the same morning, the Nautilus was spotted in the Kuya Bay, southeast of the city. At 11 a.m., it was found sunk. It had been intentionally sunk. So a private boat rescued the lone survivor on the deck. There's a picture of Peter on the deck. He's alive. Kim was not on board. He tells police that he dropped Kim off on shore sometime around 11:30 the previous evening. They did not believe him. They confirmed separately that he had deliberately sunk the submarine. It was not accidental. On the 21st of August, 11 days after Kim boarded the Nautilus, a cyclist found a human torso washed up on Ammer Beach, southwest of Copenhagen. It had been weighted down with metal, included 15 stab wounds, and they think the stabs were to prevent gases from floating it to the surface. So he did not intend for this to ever be discovered, right? DNA confirmed, unfortunately, that it was Kim Wall. So he was arrested. A psychologist who examined him described him as perverted, sexually deviant, and highly untrustworthy. So a lot of strikes against this guy. In the weeks and months that followed, the Royal Danish Navy divers found the rest of her.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. When you said her torso, I was like, instead of body.
Yeah, just he dismembered her entirely. So they found her head separated from her arms, her leg, but they found all of her in this Kuya Bay. All again, bags weighted down with pieces of metal. They also found a knife and pieces of her clothing. So Mattson's story changed repeatedly. First, he dropped her off safely. Then he admitted she had died on board, but it was an accident. She'd been struck by the, you know, how heavy those hatches probably are.
Yes.
It hit her in the head, and he didn't know what to do. But medical examination found no fractures to her skull. And then he claimed, oh, well, okay, if you're not buying that one, well, it was carbon monoxide poisoning from the exhaust gases while she was on deck. It didn't impact me because I'm really cool and like impervious to those things, but it impacted her and it killed her.
And then I just decided to see none of these things. Is that it's like,
just wait.
But how you dismembered her, buddy, like doesn't fit with that.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that?
Oh, he has an explanation for that too. Okay.
I'm not buying it.
So forensics, I'm sure you're going to be shocked to find out, could find no carbon monoxide in her lungs. Yeah. Eventually, Mattson admitted outright that he had killed her. And he said, yep, there's one who's guilty. It's me. At trial, the prosecution built the case that what had happened aboard the Nautilus was a planned, sadistic, sexual murder. That Mattson had bound Kim, he abused her, and then he killed her by either strangulation or by cutting her throat. He mutilated her body post-mortem and then dispersed the pieces of her. The stab wounds, the judge noted, had been inflicted in and around her genital area, believed to have occurred at or near the time of death. I mean, she was just completely tortured. It was horrible. The videos on Mattson's computer, his documented internet searches that morning, and the witnesses who'd seen him watching snuff films and practicing asphyxiation, like the prosecution ties all this together. So you can imagine what that trial looked like. And on 25th of April 2018, Copenhagen City Court convicted Peter Mattson on all three charges: premeditated murder, indecent handling of a corpse, and sexual assault of a particularly dangerous nature. So Judge Annette Burko described the crime as a, quote, cynical and planned sexual murder of a severe, brutal nature against a random woman. Mattson was sentenced to life imprisonment, which is like the harshest penalty they have to give. They don't I don't think they believe in capital punishment. A psychiatric evaluation concluded that he posed a continuing danger, was psychopathic, and exhibited a profound lack of empathy. Also, he was highly sexually deviant. So he appealed, of course, as you do. The high court upheld the sentence. In an interesting twist, I don't know if I said this, or maybe I'm getting to it. Sometimes I have memories of things and then I throw them out of place. This might be one of those cases. But at one point, he was trying to tell them that, the hatch hit her and she died and I didn't know what to do and I couldn't carry her out. Like, you have to physically be able to get yourself out of this hatch. So I had to dismember her so I could get her out, instead of like calling authorities who probably have equipment to do stuff like that. No. So they bought none of it, obviously. In October of 20, Madsen escaped from Herstedvesta prison with a fake pistol and a belt designed to look like an explosive device.
How did he get a fake pistol?
I don't have any clue. He was recaptured 500 meters from the prison gate, sitting in a white van, surrounded by armed police. He got an additional 21 months of his life sentence for an escape.
An additional on top of a life sentence.
Yeah. Like, salt in the wound. Like, it doesn't matter, but it is kind of funny.
Why don't they just put him down in a dark hole?
Right.
Like, that'll drive. He can drive himself crazy, right? Put him in like isolation down in a deep dark hole.
Stick him in the submarine and weld it shut.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Ooh, I think you're onto something here. Are you listening, Denmark? Okay. There's this line that stuck with me. This was in an HBO series called The Investigation, and it like dramatized this situation. I didn't actually watch it, but I did like this line. Quote, "The least interesting part of Kim's life," this Lindholm said, which was someone following, a filmmaker, Tobias Lindholm, "is probably the ending." The least interesting, because again, how she lived, all the things she engaged in and the stories she told. And he was right. Like, so the ending seemed to be what everybody wanted to talk about, the submarine and the horror and all this stuff. But her mother, Ingrid, put it differently. A Facebook post after her daughter's death, she described Kim as a journalist who gave a voice to weak, vulnerable, and marginalized people. She spoke of a daughter, not a victim. And then they went on to establish the Kim Wall Memorial Fund, and they also published a beautiful book together in her memory, which I just think is cool because it tells this fuller story and
who she was.
Yeah, of who she was, instead of this
incident,
victim of this tragic incident. Like, she was way, 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 way more than that. And her friends were really insistent upon that too. Like, don't remember her as the murdered Swedish journalist. Remember her because of the bravery and the courage and just amazingness she had in the work that she
accomplished,
volunteered to do. It's not like, hey, this is your assignment, little lady. Like, she's like, hey, I want to go do this. I want to go explore this. And she would just figure it out and go, sleeping on the ground or doing whatever she had to do. It's just really, really, go read that vampire one though. Like, he's got a total gothic apartment, and it's pretty interesting that there are people who really drink blood.
Yes, but I feel like there's people out there who think that they're cats, dogs, like, you know what I mean? Like, so for someone to think that they're...
Oh, she did one on, I read one that she did on the furry community too. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's really interesting. Yeah. All right. How long have we been recording?
40 minutes.
All right. I'm just going to call it because I feel like I'm going to cry if I talk about any more of this.
Totally fine.
But she was only 30 years old when this happened to her, and it's tragic, and I just want to leave on her work and all these things that she brought and exposed that most people had never heard of, and just brought so much richness to the encyclopedia of human knowledge because she dared to do it. And I just think she was an amazing woman.
She sounds fascinating. And I think that she was young, and her life was snatched from her. My
daughter is 30.
Snatched from her way too young. But like, at the same hand, when you talk about, I can't wait to look at the source notes just so I can read some of her articles. But I think that sounds to me like she had a good life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, other than that end, which no one deserves. Everything else was a beautiful life. So she's fortunate in that way, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. That's all I got for you on this one.
Okay.
So I'll let you riff. You can close us out. We decided we're not going to follow a script anymore because we don't know what we're doing. So
Well, I did kind of like, I'm like, I have to have some bullet notes. So I'm just going to tell you guys.
okay,
You know,
you just tell us.
obviously.
You just tell us.
Thank you for
Just
joining
tell
us.
us.
Thank you for being here with Crisis and Consequences, Charity and KB. You know, please subscribe so you never, ever, ever miss an episode because we don't want you to miss an episode.
Also, it's getting exciting lately.
It is getting exciting.
You guys are coming in clutch. Clearly, you're telling people about it.
Yeah.
We keep checking during the day.
growing.
Like, it's getting exciting. And this is not our day job, but it does support an amazing cause. And we're just so grateful that the word is getting out there.
Absolutely.
And like, I don't know what's shifted, but thank you. Thank you.
And with that, like, leave us a 5-star review. Like, please leave us, or if you don't like us, I guess leave us a bad review. But
Or
take it
just,
either way.
or just go distract yourself with something else. I mean, you don't have to be mean, right?
no, just anyway. So leave us a 5-star review because it really does help more people find us. That's what we need.
Yeah. Or something constructive too. Like if it's like, hey, actually this fact was wrong. I don't want to ever, never intentionally reporting anything incorrectly. So if there's a correction, I'm happy to make that. But also just like if you have an idea, because sometimes I will run low on ideas. Like, you know, sometimes it's like jackpot and I just have idea after idea. And other times it's like,
What do you search for? You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
So I love it when I get ideas from you. But let us know how we're doing, how we can be more supportive and you know, creating this community. And just thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. You can reach us at hello@consequences.
Nope.
hello@crisisandconsequences.com, or find us online, same place. Otherwise, you guys can read some of those articles. Maybe if you find some more of her articles and you want to share them with us, send them our way. But those are in the source notes, and we'll be back next week with another story.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.